Finally, after I don't know how many months, I'm doing another one. How strong is the Disney Channel Phantom Troop? I did the Cartoon Network Krokotski. I will say the best and the strongest one, but now we're doing their top rival, Disney Channel. But
so artist Darren Z created some of the coolest anime villain cosplays for the best childhood cartoons that ever existed. Last time I asked you who would win in a matchup between the Cartoon Network Akatsuki and the Nickelodeon Espada. This time, let's add a couple new challengers to the 4-way battle royale. Introducing two new...
So I'm guessing my next one that I do, I don't know in how long, it will be the Nick Jr.
New key players in the brawl for the best nostalgic kids cartoons criminal group, the Boomerang CP9 and the Disney Phantom Troop. Just like the last videos, I'll be briefly going over every individual character's strengths, weaknesses, and movesets on the villain roster, not spending too long on every minute detail, because if we did, we'd be here for hours dissecting some of these characters, and I know you want that, but no. Hopefully by the end of all of this, we'll be able to have a clear picture as to exactly how strong these Western animation villain organizations are and what each role some of these characters are going to play in the different criminal organizations.
Doug Jr.'s mustache, is it real?
Is customizing your car insurance with Liberty Mutual and saving hundreds?
They're in. With this being part 3 in the series, terms like Toon Force or like Universal are not going to be in detail explained. I will be introducing some new concepts, but if you aren't keen to some of those other ones, I highly recommend you check out the other 2 videos that I've done. If you don't care, or consider yourself a master of the forbidden knowledge and have studied the sacred text to the degree that you feel comfortable, let's just dive right in. Next time, we'll cover their direct opponents, the Boomerang CP9. So don't go anywhere, because the Phantom...
So, Boomerang CP9, that's gonna be after the Nickelodeon. Oh, yeah.
Troops simply take on their numbered tattoos with no real hierarchy or strength ranking in mind. I think it'll be much more interesting to focus on what kind of Nen user these Disney replacements would be, as well as how they fit into the Phantom Troop's hobbies of heisting and homicide. First of all, Zoro is here again for some reason, somehow wandered into a completely different universe yet again for the 3rd time. Someone needs to look into how many timelines this man has just accidentally destroyed simply by existing where he shouldn't, getting lost in alternate dimensions. But more importantly, with how diverse this Disney Phantom Troop seems to be, I'm surprised the Minority Hunter Rorona diverse.
I mean, okay, let's see. Is that what I think it is? Okay, Star herself is tough. Mabel and them, they got some powers with them. Phineas and Ferb is quite literally broken. So I would say first, because she is strong. First, second, third. And then, I mean, I don't know. Probably he cold. I don't know too much about them.
This Disney Phantom Troop seems to be. I'm surprised the Minority Hunter Rorona Zoro would even be caught dead in this villain organization to begin with. Seriously though, when looking at the actual members of the Disney Phantom Troop, you can see they're one of the most well-rounded groups Darren has drawn for us. For example, one of the first troop members I want to highlight is going to be Kim Possible, a vigilante hero who's a master of over 16 different martial arts styles. As a secret agent, Kim Possible is able to sneak into high security facilities and military complexes without being noticed and dispatch threats with little to no effort at all. And for a criminal organization like the Phantom Troop that's garnered their reputation for mass thievery and covert operations, a vigilante like Kim Possible fits right in. And her physical stats are nothing to scoff at in the realm of Hunter x Hunter either. With her many different weapons and gadgets, such as the communicator that acts as a jack of all trades, hacking other technology, tracking and locating objects or human targets, even scanning allies or enemies' vitals for vulnerabilities or injuries. Kim Possible has also wielded things like the lipstick laser that tears through metal or shoots substances from a wristwatch that immediately knock opponents unconscious. But the most dangerous weapon of all is Kim Possible's battle suit that not only drastically amplifies her physical stats to the point she's leaving behind after images, wearing that suit can create large earthquakes in the ground beneath her or catch and reflect attacks made of pure energy as as if it's nothing. The battle suit can repair itself, turn invisible,
Oh, that's
even
cold.
fly, and empower its striking strength with its own charged up blue energy, allowing Kim
So she was already hanging with Shigo without the battle suit.
impossible to tackle
Look at this.
citywide threats like Shigo, who's a master martial artist herself and has been shown to vaporize average people or objects with her superpowers. But Kim can just tank these supernatural attacks and even go as far as to defeat Team Go, an entire team of superhuman threats. The vigilante hero would probably be some type of emitter or enhancer type hunter and be an essential spider on heist and on the battlefield. The same can be said for another recognizable teenage hero, Jake Long, a boy born to a line of actual Chinese dragons that's able to harness and wield his supernatural dragon powers in a way to protect his home city, and also being able to inflict some pretty serious damage himself. As in his dragon form, Jake has accidentally obliterated entire structures just by the shockwaves created from his—
So Sphinx, I say, bro, it's Sphinx. Who is her? He said she is the enhancer or something like that.
sneezes, and his foul dragon breath alone is able to make people drop unconscious just by inhaling it, and that's just on accident, as when purposefully using his powers, Jake can conjure large orbs of flames from either his mouth or hands that can explode or melt steel beams. Wait, no, Jake, you couldn't have. Even the general release of fire from Jake's transformation is enough to burn and cause harm to others, showing just how much power resides in the teenage dragon. And besides being immune to fire himself, Jake can also manipulate the different parts of his dragon body to partially transform and use his claws or tail for attack, conjure large windstorms with just the flaps of his wings, or even wield magical abilities like duplicating himself with chi manipulation. Jake Long would be a much more brutish Phantom Troop member and not really working well behind the scenes or being stealthy. He's
so like the bigger dude, like the attacker, big brawling dude, the dude with like the Frankenstein dude with the guns with his fingers.
Much more suited for the front line of combat, as Jake has shown time and time again that despite being a child, he's an exceptional hand-to-hand combatant and is capable of great acrobatic feats. On top of the fact his dragon form is also increasing his general awareness of his senses, like sight and hearing, so that way it vastly improves Jake's surveillance and reflexes. If Jake Long can defeat the Dark Dragon, the largest supernatural and magical threat to his city and community, he can at least act as a part of the Phantom Troop's muscle as a transmuter or manipulator.
Local tax experts are here. Now you can meet with a TurboTax expert in your community. They can do your taxes for you and get you every dollar you deserve. Local tax experts are here. Hand off your taxes with confidence.
Unfortunately, though, even in the Disney Phantom Troop, there are some stinkers in the lineup. One of Disney's misses is gonna have to be Kit Buttowski, who, despite being an absolute menace to his friendly neighborhood and not being afraid to perform any insane stunt known to man, the only real potential this kid has shown is on the dodgeball field. I mean, sure, kid kicks a dodgeball so hard it catches on fire, punches one so hard there's a sonic boom, and is able to dodge every single dodgeball while running around the entire gymnasium and its walls like he's got ultra instinct or something.
He got ultra
instinct. You know what? He might actually be kind of strong. But just because he can survive long falls or put human-sized Junji Ito craters in the ground doesn't mean he can actually endure going up against a heist with other Nen users or mafia members. The child is also often way too much of a risk taker for his own good and repeatedly gets himself hurt instead of actually ever completing his stunts half the time. Kit Buttowski would play his best position in a behind-the-scenes role for the Phantom Troop as some kind of like stuntman with enhancement Nen maybe, or like crazily enough, I could even see Kit Buttowski being some—
he can be the manipulator. Let him be the manipulator.
Mad scientist specialist Nen type. Because, and I mean, hear me out on this one, when it comes to being a unique individual who is willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish what he sets his mind to, Kit Buttowski has proven himself quite the intelligent psychopath in certain situations, completing a month's worth of homework in one night. Also, he could free up his schedule to work on a vehicle that would be capable of breaking the sound barrier, and that's just all in one day. I mean, this requires some level of extreme resolve and genius, genius, making me think Kit Butowski could fill the role of some crazy inventor or strategist type that, while making absolutely no sense at all to his teammates, would somehow always come to the correct conclusion or best outcome, despite it seemingly appearing as the most dangerous option to go through. Speaking of other characters that would probably play better roles in the background than being on the front lines, would be the twins from Gravity Falls, Dipper and Mabel Pines. Now, a character like Dipper is the embodiment of prep time.
Yeah, I would say that. They're little kids. I mean, yes, they don't really have powers per se. I mean, they have a magical book. Yeah, that could be the manipulators, and let Star and because Phineas and Ferb, they gotta be the inventors. Phineas and Ferb gotta be the inventors, and Star and Marco gotta be the enforcers or something. Like that little ninja girl could be Star, and Marco just gonna be Marco.
Bro is always coming to every single situation with some kind of complicated plan, even to the point that just asking a girl to the dance was a point-by-point mission. And Mabel herself is responsible for solving crime mysteries that no police officer or detective was capable of figuring out on their own in like 100-year time spans. The twins' genius does not extend to just plain preparation either, as even mid-crisis, both Mabel and Dipper have proven their ability to think on the fly. I mean, Dipper's quick wit is what led to the creation of the crystal flashlight, which is an invention that's capable of changing someone's size or just outright increasing their strength, something that can definitely extend to Dipper's allies. And Dipper also personally has access to other weapons like the memory gun that can disrupt enemies' neural pathways and directly delete their memories, or the magnet gun that can magnetize objects and attract them from afar for offense or defense. Mabel herself is an expert in building extremely dangerous pyrotechnics or creating bombs from household disposables. With the amount of paranormal threats they've both faced, their resolve under pressure is commendable. Dipper was willing to throw hands with literal hands, and Mabel showed she's just as capable as her brother because she literally physically beat Dipper in a fight while he was possessed by Bill Cipher. We also can't forget about the time that Dipper completed his training.
I mean, and they survived Bill Cipher, which is a crazy villain. I mean, he's in here too. I mean, you could put him in the lineup. I mean,
with the Manitars, meaning he's capable of smashing an entire boulder and enduring the pain hole. But the twins have also survived colossal explosions, stood up against planetary threats like Bill Cipher, and while I wouldn't put Dipper or Mabel in the same tier of power as like Kim Possible, they could both make experienced hunters who honestly could fit into any category of Nen. Whereas someone who I think comes a little bit closer to Kim Possible in overall ranking would be Randy Cunningham. Who? The whitest possible name you could ever give to a ninja. But despite only being in 9th grade, after receiving the ninja mask and saving his town from multiple different shinobi-related threats, Randy is actually quite the capable combatant and shadow assassin. Randy, the 9th grade ninja, is exceptionally adept at all different types of weaponry, such as grappling hooks for stealthy transportation, chain sickles for long-range fighting, or special ninja bombs like smoke, freezing, or stun grenades. Randy's favorite melee weapon is his katana that he can dual wield if he so chooses. And whether he's fighting monsters, robots, or the forces of magic, the 9th grader always comes out of the battlefield somehow unscathed. Randy Cunningham has proven himself stronger than villains in his universe like Lucius O'Thunderpunch that have obliterated large meteors with their strikes. Adapting to each one of these dangerous threats as they come, Randy also has access to multiple different versatile magic spells of his own to aid his assaults in battle. The 9th grade ninja can easily make enemies or even machines for some reason vomit by hitting the correct pressure points, and his heightened ninja senses allow him to fight blindfolded or predict opponents' actions as if he had precognition, to the point my man has even dodged full-on laser beams of light. When channeling his maximum power, Randy's able to launch colossal shockwaves of pressurized air from his punches, or even manipulate the earth around him to split into clones, or summoning giant sandworms that can aid Randy in battle. And at his most powerful, Randy can transform into a rage mode where he gains elemental powers such as Ninja Tengu fireballs that launch and explode on contact with their target.
I'm not even lying, bro. Sean, like, he might be top 3 in the verse. I can't even count.
Putting Randy Cunningham in a similar league of town/city saving.
I'm still trying to give Phineas and Ferb and Star the benefit of the doubt because they have done crazy stuff in their shows.
Troop members like Kim and Jake as either a dual enhancer / conjuration
Star,
type or
Star
specialist.
at her strongest.
USAA Classic Checking was built to your high standards. No monthly fees. Fraud monitoring. It's checking that measures up. Wow. See if a parent's service qualifies you for membership.
When your kid is hurting and there's nothing you can do about it.
However, if you've been following these videos up until this point, you'll notice that so far none of the Disney Phantom Troop have really been too impressive. They all sit around similar levels of power and they can definitely protect entire cities from villains, but it takes only one big heavy hitter from the other teams and their entire troop is taken out. And you would be right in assuming that if it wasn't for the last 3 duos that I've got to go over on this Disney Phantom Troop list, including the new mastermind of the troop that will be replacing Crollo Lucifer as the Dark Prince of the Spiders. And you'll see right away the 2 power couples of Puka and Garu and Star and Marco from Star vs. the Forces of Evil will heavily inflate the Phantom Troop by a lot. Puka and Garu are the first members to vastly benefit from the Toon Force hack, while Garu expresses himself as a much more serious ninja and tries to rely on his ninjutsu and impressive acrobatics. His yandere girlfriend by force, Puka, is the one that relies on these benefits of reality bending to get by. That being said, I don't want to besmirch their names too much as they are both strong ninjas. Even Puka herself is able to dispatch enemies with her physical skills just like Garu is. And although Puka and Garu take it a step further by effortlessly dodging extreme speed obstacles like lightning bolts or running around the world in less than a day, the main difference between Puka and Garu is that they are essentially immortal. Garu himself was shown surviving even after being reduced to just a skeleton, and Puka herself almost never takes a single lick of damage despite all the things that happen to her, like being crushed by boulders. As a man of honor, regardless of his Toon Force levels of durability, Garu has earned his attack potency and strength respectively through intense training and taking a vow of silence to further prove his dedication to the ninja craft. He's shown the power to turn people into stone, split himself into illusionary clones, or even transcend to the astral plane. Garu can even manipulate electricity to do things like fly or even conjure massive amounts of lightning, so much so that he can disintegrate foes on contract or generate comparable power to his rival Toby that was said to create electricity with the power of over 1,000 storms and can effortlessly take down large buildings. And then there's Puka, who's transformed both her and Garu into star constellations in the sky without hesitation, or just created humongous vicious weather by being in a foul mood. With her control over reality, Puka has also acknowledged the existence of other universes, such as Sailor Moon, and conjured her wand and outfit in order to make use of all of her powers and transcend dimensions. Puka has once also evolved into a transformation known only as Noodle Girl, where even just by taking footsteps, the entire Earth itself quaked in fear. She is like literally if RAR XD was a fighting style, which I think should easily classify her as a high tier member of the Disney troupe and most likely a specialist, since Puka kind of just manipulates the universe to her will. Meanwhile, the more traditional Lightning Ninja Garu probably sits somewhere closer to Killua on Transmuter or maybe even Emitter. And our next power couple, Star and Marco, I think take the cake as the strongest members of the entire Disney troupe. Because if you're not familiar with Star versus the Forces of Evil, welcome to the club. Honestly, the more I found out, the more terrified I got.
I know Star is OP. I mean, Marco, he occasionally, I knew when he went to that dimension, bro, became cold for a little bit. And when he took her wand, he could use her wand, and he have a whole little form himself. But
Star Butterfly is a princess from another dimension that possesses a wand and capacity for magic that could one day result in the destruction of multiple universes. Actually, having already deleted some in the past, albeit those dimensions were fixed afterwards by her very same magic, wielding the Butterfly family's royal magic wand. By the end of her series, Star Butterfly is an exceptional combatant that's able to combine her genius intelligence and adapt adaptability with her wand's extreme magical prowess to wield power that has saved the multiverse on many occasions. On screen, Star has shown the ability to create portals to other dimensions or use an all-seeing eye that can find any person or anything, no matter where or when they are. And on the battlefield, the princess can conjure giant butterfly wings to increase her agility and mobility, while also launching powerful magic attacks like barrage of explosive leeches that blow up on contact, or ice beams that can freeze opponents and even manipulate full blizzards. Which is sure all great, right? But what makes her better than some of these previous entries? Well, it isn't until you take a look at one of Star's spells in her little book that you can see the kind of extremities she's capable of bringing out. Because despite that low experience she has, Star's Royal Wand isn't put on some kind of restriction or limiter. From the get-go, if casted, Star is capable of using magic that caused previous users of the Royal Wand to just delete all gravity from the realm, and in the same breath, conjure a giant lasso that can be powerful enough to wrap around the planet and snap its axis back into place to return gravity. Star has the spell with no name, a forbidden magic attack that literally acts like a pseudo Hakai from Dragon Ball Z, destroys a being's existence on the spot. And to take that a step further, the Royal Wand has spells like Mega Explosive Crystal Laser that tear through entire planets in one cast. There's a legitimate reason that after gifting Star the wand, her mother warns the princess that if released to its fullest potential, a user of the Royal Wand could probably obliterate the entire universe with a single spell if its magic was abused. And although Star herself would probably never use catastrophic magic like this on ordinary occasions, in a no-holds-barred environment where she needs to meet
ordinary occasions, bro, she was doing that thing
someone with universe-ending power themselves, I'm sure Star isn't afraid to go as far as she needs to win and save her people. Because as much as she pretends to be a ditzy teenage girl, Star is actually a very smart protagonist. And because she has a wand that literally just lets her do whatever she needs it to, she becomes an insanely
great chicken deserves real Belgian waffles. Saint-Pierre, eat
Star
avec
is
respect.
good. Star is
Imagine being able
the
to build an
strongest
app
on
with
this
your
list.
name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
dangerous specialist trump card for the Disney troupe, as in drastic situations when needing to deceive an enemy, Star has shown capacity to go against her peaceful nature and take advantages of her opponent's weaknesses, even tricking them, like whispering a cataclysmic spell into her wand before letting it loose into a castle and letting it self-destruct with a time-bombed explosion that decimated the entire structure in one blast. Star's partner, Marco Diaz, is surprisingly just as capable as Star on the battlefield, despite lacking that magical power. As a master martial artist himself, Marco can keep up with Star in a fight directly. I mean, he's agile enough to dodge or even deflect her spells, as well as compare to her attack potency and striking strength, whether Marco's fighting hundreds of robots, monsters, or even clones. Whether it takes Marco 16 years or 2 seconds, he will take down all of his opponents and win. And like, that's not an exaggeration. I shit you not, there's a timeline where Marco literally had to survive 16 years fighting non-stop, and like, he just brushes that off like it's nothing. Marco has defeated trained groups of knights with his arms tied to his sides. He's damaged magical beings like Mitoria after she absorbed the power of multiple souls. So regardless if he's playing second fiddle or not, Marco is a great bare bones enhancer that has even shown the ability to make use of Star's wand, making the two characters inseparable. However, power isn't everything in the Phantom Troop, which is why I think the perfect replacement for Krollo Lucifer as the leader of the Spiders. That role goes perfectly for Phineas Flynn and his adopted brother Ferb. As the cold, calculating, yet extremely compassionate about their teammates leader of the Shadow organization, I think the position couldn't be better suited for the extremely big-brained and normally pacifistic Phineas. And considering Ferb is mostly just that sidekick that helps Phineas with his adventures and ideas on what to do on what day, outside of their extreme 2-and-4's durability.
They 1-1. What you mean? They're 1-1, bro. They bounce ideas off of each other, bro. That's just his partner.
And reality bending, most of Phineas and Ferb's power stems from Phineas's genius intelligence. They've created reality-bending inventions like it's an everyday occurrence, such as omniscient supercomputers that can strategize every outcome, or molecular separators that can literally and figuratively take people apart.
Wow.
The brothers have built spaceships to travel to outer space, or even created portals that can access alternate dimensions or jump to different times, such as the past or future. And the thing that separates characters like Phineas and Ferb from other duos like Dipper and Mabel, while diving deeply into the supernatural in Gravity Falls, they do not have the same kind of insane toon force that Phineas and Ferb do, as their inventions not only exceed the other Genius Troop members on grounds of scale, considering no other member has developed a robot that was able to conjure a force field around the entire galaxy, quote unquote, just because, but the brothers' capacity to manipulate reality itself allows them to shift entire environments or just bare bones create pocket dimensions in seconds, as if the world was a Broadway set for them. And what
in their backyard too, they press a button, beaches, roller coasters, amusement parks, everything. Like, come on.
What if I told you that actually none of this was Toon Force and there was a legit real-world explanation as to why Phineas and Ferb have such a strong control over reality itself? In a special crossover episode, Baljeet discovers that he has enough evidence and logical data to scientifically prove a new natural law of the universe. He entitles it the Phineas and Ferb effect. By emitting positive aura from their bodies, both Phineas and Ferb have a passive effect on the physical realm's natural probability.
Oh, and what's it called? Oh, they're all in the same universe, and Milo Murphy, he have a negative.
Just by existing, the two brothers' presence alone influences reality in such a way that the universe must always shift in accordance with their supernatural good luck, meaning any threat that goes against the brothers will inadvertently miss them, or even worse, be reflected right back on themselves, making Phineas and Ferb two nigh immortal beings capable of
I'm not lying, this is damn near their best episode. That little beach episode, this is damn near their best episode.
Two nigh immortal beings capable of not only creating any situation they put their minds to, but are inversely incapable of having any bad thrown in their direction, as specialists who can work in the shadows and direct the troop with what they should do that day. Phineas and Ferb can lead their fellow criminals proudly, commanding respect.
There's that, oh my days, he got the Omnitrix and the Gauntlet. Woo!
Regardless of their less dangerous nature. Also, in Darren's art, they have both the Omnitrix and the Infinity Gauntlet, so take that as you will. How strong do you think the Disney Phantom Troop are compared to the other three villain groups?
He's looking broken though, but I haven't seen this though. I know SpongeBob have Toon Force. We're watching this next, then we're gonna watch this next. But hey,
more importantly, what are their chances of beating the Boomerang CP9? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below, and make sure you hit that like button to let me know that you enjoyed the video. But even more importantly, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss the next video in the series that goes over everybody in the Boomerang CP9. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out the two other videos that cover the Nickelodeon and Spot.
I did gotta check out the Nickelodeon. That will be the next on this series. But yo, that's it for this video. I'm done. Peace. See y'all guys in the next one. Bye guys.